you we got some juiciness today at training camp. We had a full-on scrimmage. Before we get going, sit back, enjoy the show. Hammer that like button. If you feel so, hammer that subscribe button as well. Will, I don't even know where to begin. I'm so excited. No notes today. We're just free flowing this episode. I don't even know where you want to begin, but I guess I lied, Will. We have to start with Aidan Hutchinson. Just an absolute nightmare on the field today. Number one offense versus number one defense. According to Tim Twentyman, Aidan Hutchinson was the best player on the field. William, how does that make you feel?
Steve. Before we get going, I want to say this. I want to circle back. We're going to talk about Aidan, and it's going to be pivotal. But I want to circle back to yesterday's show because, Steve, I'm going to term this first couple of minutes of the show as Will has time today. That's what I'm going to tell you. Will has time today. So, and Steve had no idea this was happening, so we didn't talk about this. Like we said, we're freestyling, we're flowing today. But yesterday we talked about a topic that had to do with the Detroit Lions offense and having a question about the Detroit Lions offense. But there's a couple of things that I got to ask some of our subscribers. So if you don't fit the mold of the people that I'm talking about, this isn't for you, right? You can, obviously, I want you to listen to it and understand it. But if you feel offended or if you feel like I'm talking to you, it's probably because I am. All right. So here's the deal, Steve. The first thing that I want to challenge and ask our subscribers and the people who stumble upon us to do is subscribe, hit that like button, follow us, and maybe think about becoming, a member. But other than that, is to listen to the whole thoughts of what's coming out of our mouth. That's number one. Number two, don't just go to the topic or the thumbnail and think that you know what the show is about, watch it for 2-3 minutes, and then comment. Don't do that because you miss pivotal and key information, right? I want to say that first and foremost. Second, getting into the topic yesterday, because I think it's going to flow into today, Steve. What yesterday was about for me, and you let me know if I'm on par or not when I get through this thing, is the Detroit Lions offense has been talked about by virtually everyone in the free world, including our subscriber in Indonesia. Shout out to you, right? As one of the best offenses, if not the best offense in the NFL. Steve, is that true? Right.
I don't see any reason to believe otherwise.
Right. So that is something that it's not questioned, right? And our defense has not been talked about around the league and by everyone in the free world as one of the best defenses in the NFL. Right. So when I posed the question yesterday, the first of it was this: if you could potentially be the best offense in the free world, should you maybe be dominating a defense that isn't considered to be one of the best defenses in the free world, right? That was the premise of yesterday's show. It wasn't something that we made up. It wasn't something that was pulled from thin air. That's first. If you watch the whole show, on the back end of it, we fell into the fact of maybe, just maybe, Steve, this defense is going to be one of the best defenses in the free world. Maybe we are about to take a step forward. Maybe we have already taken a step forward and we are seeing the breadcrumbs and evidence of this defense going out here and being special. Maybe it isn't a question of the offense. Maybe it's that our defense is just finally ready to be the iron against the offensive iron, and we can just battle it out and duke it out. Maybe that's what it is. But if it isn't, maybe there is some questions, right? So that was the premise. I just want to wrap that up because I feel like a lot of people got confused, offended, and emotional. So maybe people are tracking, and maybe now they don't think that I'm an idiot. Furthermore, Steve, and this is where I'll wrap it up and we can move on to the real business at hand today. When it comes to our offense and when it comes to my expectations and my thought processes, I have a strong understanding that defensive install and offensive install is a little bit different. But what I need people to understand is that's a loaded question. That's a loaded thought process. The Detroit Lions have an offensive coordinator that's already been here in Detroit, Right? He was a part of the foundational process of building the offense that the Chicago Bears coach got the blessing of being at the helm of. Right? So I would say, and Coach Morton has even come to the podium and said, listen, I don't plan on changing a whole lot because what we were doing already is working. So we have, I don't know, every skill position player coming back: St. Brown, J-Mo, Laporta, Montgomery, Gibbs, Khalif Raymond. And then on top of that, we got extra little sprinkles in there when you're talking about Tesla and Dominic Lovett, and got just blessing of a 6'4", 4'4" guy adding to the mix of this. So the question for me, when you got that veteran quarterback that I didn't even talk about yet, in Jared Goff, what I'm looking for out of him, Steve, is one word: consistency. Consistency. And Steve, you can look up the word consistency in Webster's dictionary, and I'm sure you'll get a cool definition, but I got my own definition of it. My definition is consistency to me is the elimination of mystery. It's the elimination of mystery. I don't have to wonder what it's going to be when you step on that grass or you step on that turf. I know what it is. That's what consistency is to me. Every time, this is what I'm going to get out of you. I don't need to wonder, am I going to get 18 for 18 perfect QBR, or am I going to get 5 interceptions, right? I don't need to wonder if I'm going to get 400 yards and going toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes, or if I'm going to get 3 turnovers in the biggest game of the Detroit Lions history, right, against the Washington Commanders at home, right? I don't want to worry. So when I'm talking about having questions, that's what I'm looking for ultimately. I'm looking for dominance, Steve, and to roll this thing back up to exactly where you started, because we work so well together. You tee me up perfectly every single time. Steve, when I look at the guy that you named, the man that you named, the beast that you named in Aidan Hutchinson, you know what I get, Steve? Consistency. Every time Aidan Hutchinson puts his cleats on the turf or the grass, I get dominance. Every time. It's not a mystery. I'm not wondering what he's going to be or what he's going to do. Every single time he straps it up, I know what I'm going to get. So when I'm posing these questions, Steve, I'm wondering, can I get the same level of consistency and expectation from our quarterback and our offense, Jared? If I can, we will not only be a number one freaking offense, we will be a number one freaking offense consistently, and we don't have to worry about falling apart in the biggest moments on our lives. So, Steve, training camp today, you talked about it, you teed it up. Aidan Hutchinson was a freaking animal. Animal, Steve. And Tim Twentyman put it out. He said, dominant day, Steve. Dominant day out of Aidan Hutchinson. You see it here. 3 sacks, Steve, for Aidan Hutchinson. And the defense just performed as a whole. I'm not going to read it word for word because I'm getting old and I can hardly see this thing, but you guys can see it because it's probably on a big screen. Dominant day. Brian Branch showed out today. There was some sack by the second teamers. I know Patrick O'Connor and a few other guys got busy today. The defense showed out in that first team. As you can see it here, Steve, I'm seeing some evidence that this defense might be special. How are you feeling? What do you think?
I'm just waiting on the stewardess to bring me a pack of peanuts. I didn't think that plane was ever going to land, Will. Jeez, oh, Pete took us on a roller coaster there. We went from recapping yesterday's show. I thought we were talking today's news, but hey, here we are.
What happens when you let me free ball?
Planes landed. Everybody, don't jump up right away. Wait till we get to the gate, before you get off the ship and start grabbing your bags. Will's landed the plane. Peanuts, popcorn, everything still being handed out. William, I think Aidan Hutchinson is on pace for every award defensively known to man. All right. I almost want him to just kind of simmer it down a little bit. Like, don't be giving all the gas right away just in the first 5-6 days of training camp. Like, it's a long season, young man. Like, I know you got the stamina and you got the endurance, but it's a long year. Let's not be tapping that keg too early before we start having a good time. But William, I don't think we've gone a single day without talking about training camp practices and not mentioning Aidan Hutchinson. Like, he was the one player throughout all the injury time that he had where we were talking about we weren't going to get too excited. We weren't going to get too excited seeing him in the pool or running around on a field. or just gingerly walking into Ford Field with a noticeable limp, we weren't going to get too excited. I said, until I start seeing him do some football stuff. That's what he's been doing for the last week. Is he's been doing some football stuff, and that football stuff is keeping Jared Goff alive, because thank God you can't hit the quarterback in training camp, because I think 3 sacks, from what I've read, it could have been close to 6 if he didn't have to let up because of that red jersey today. So I know a lot of those reps were against Dan Skipper. Don't care. What we've been saying the last couple of weeks, find the fish. If there's a mismatch for Aidan Hutchinson, I don't need him to get you don't get bonus points for getting a sack against one of the best offensive tackles. It's a sack regardless of who you beat on the offensive line. I don't care who it is, William. I'm thrilled. I love the dominance. I think Hutch, stay healthy for 17 games. I don't see a world where it's not a 20-sack season for him.
I agree, Steve. And then when I look at this defense as a whole, Brian Branch had a sack today. He had a pass breakup today. He had a QB pressure today. Jack Campbell had a sack today. This defense showed up and showed out today. Now, for the people who are going to get in the comments and say the score of the scrimmage was 16-12, I believe. What I want people to remember is this. That score was over the whole scrimmage. And second teamers came into that scrimmage and were factored into that score. Tim Twentyman reported, and we can talk about everybody else who reported, that's fine, whatever. But Tim Twentyman, the Detroit Lions beat writer, reported that the offense started off struggling against the defense. The defense started off dominant, and the first string defense had a dominant day. All right. Now, that defense had a couple of touchdowns, Steve, the defense. The defense had a couple of touchdowns. That defense.
Well, the scoring. I was looking at the scoring, and the way they got their points is a little. It's like you get 2 points for a third down
or a stop
or something.
Yeah, you get 2 points for a stop, but it said in the article that the defense had a couple of touchdowns. So my thing is this, Steve. I know it's going to be back and forth in camp, Steve, and I know that this offense is going to be freaking good. But I feel like there's evidence to show that this defense could be special. And when I look at this defense, Steve, I don't see weakness right now. I like what I'm hearing about Talik. Talik Williams they say he's been looking good when he's been out there. Right? I know what I'm going to get out of DJ Reader. Marcus Davenport has been looking good. Aidan Hutchinson has been looking special. Jack Campbell has been looking good. We know what Alex Anzalone is. We have a doggone good idea what Derek Barnes is, and he's ascending right now. 2 best safeties in the league. Our secondary is dogs out there. They said Terrion Arnold is playing out of his mind right now, even though he got a little bit of a banged up hamstring. They said it's not anything to be crazy worried about, and we know what DJ Reed is. I don't see weaknesses on this defense. Now, Steve, if we have a top-tier offense and we march out there a top-tier defense, we said it last year, Steve, if we marched out a top 10 defense, worried for the NFL. If we march out a top 3, top 5 defense, I no longer give a F about this schedule. You better bring Jesus out here as quarterback against us, man, because I know we're going through a gauntlet. I know we're going through a gauntlet of quarterbacks, but you better have a man upstairs, right? If you're gonna have me worried with the way that this defense is looking, because hey, bring out Burrow, bring out Hurts, bring out the newbies and JJ McCarthy's, man. I'm not worried about any of Patrick Mahomes. Bring them all out here, Steve. If this defense is gonna be the way that I think that it's about to be, because they are looking phenomenal from everything that I'm seeing through camp.
Let me ask you a question. On defense, how many Pro Bowlers do you think we have right now today, without a question in your mind?
I'm going to answer the question, but my token answer in the emotional state that I'm in right now is I don't care. And it's not that I don't care because I don't care. I just feel like this is such a team, Steve. This is such a Steve. It's such a team, because I feel like the way that Marcus Davenport plays football is going to complement Aidan Hutchinson being defensive player of the year, right? Because every time you try to escape, Marcus Davenport is going to shut that back door. He's going to be backside, bull rushing. You're going to try to spin out. The door's going to be closed, and you're either going to have to spin back out and try to get out, and Aiden's going to get you, or you're going to run right into Marcus Davenport, Or while this whole thing is going on, DJ Reader and Talik Williams are going to be crushing the pocket. It's everybody complements each other. Trevor Nowaski and Derek Barnes are great Sam linebackers, man. They're going to be tough at those Sam linebackers positions. And Stewart, Anzalone playing them will positions. Jack Campbell, he's looking like a man out there. Our secondary, I feel like, okay, to answer the question, Brian Branch, yes. Kirby Joseph, yes. Aidan Hutchinson, yes. Jack Campbell, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. Terry and Arnold, maybe. I don't know. So it could be 3, 4 that I'm seeing as a potential. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of times you make it a year longer than you should, and you don't make it the first year that you should. So maybe we have a few guys that should be on there, but maybe don't make it. But I'm saying I could easily see 4.
I think there's 3. No, there's 3 right now today. Let's not forget Lee McNeil's a Pro Bowler in the past, and he's coming back in November. So there's 4 right there. And he might not make it this year because of a shortened season for him, but you have 4 Pro Bowlers today. Don't let Terrion Arnold take that leap. And it's hard. It's hard to make it as a corner because the elite corners in the league are hard to find. I would be perfectly okay with just Terrion Arnold being a very, very, very good corner. I'd be perfectly happy with that. Doesn't need to go to the Pro Bowl. Same thing with Jack Campbell. Hard to make the Pro Bowl when there's top end linebackers in this league. I don't think he's in that category. I just need him to be very, very, very good. Same with Alex Anzalone. Just be very good. Marcus Davenport. Just be the complement, like you said, Will. Like, we're talking 5 potential Pro Bowlers with 3 other guys who are very, very good for their skill position. It's a good problem to have. And we all know the offense. We don't need to go down that road. We know pretty much every position is almost a Pro Bowler there. So this team's loaded with talent. It's time to win. All right. It's time to stay healthy, go through this gauntlet, get the thing done. Will, I'm excited. Can't wait. Some bad news today out of training camp, though. Terry and Arnold left practice with a little hammy issue. And I'm a little disappointed that Dan Campbell came out and said that we won't get to see Tate Ratledge or Tyleik Williams against the Chargers on Thursday. Not shocked, but let me ask you this. Do you think it is because they've secured their position on the team and their depth chart position? Do you think that it's just a done deal and that it's just kind of a formality?
I think they've earned their spots. I think that they're both going to be in the starting lineup. Writing's on the wall. I don't know if that's why. I think Talik might be getting managed a little bit. I think that he missed practice for some type of personal reason. Don't know if it was medically related or what it was. I know he's been on kind of like a snap count, so to speak, since he's been in Detroit. So I don't know if that's it. But if he's shown that he's ready already, I'm not worried about it. I'm more worried about seeing some of these other people, and I won't speak to it because I know we're going to do a show about who to look out for going into that game. But for me, Steve, I think that, they're pretty much locked in. A thing that came out of today as another one from Tim Twentyman's observations was Graham Glasgow looked pretty freaking good per what he saw and per what Coach Campbell said. And Glasgow said that he enjoys playing center. He enjoys the challenge of it. And Jared Goff and him have a relationship and a rapport, which Coach Morton has said is important to him as being the signal caller. You know, he's already got dealing with a few new tweaks and wrinkles in this offense going to Coach Morton. So why make him work even harder by having to teach a new center all the tricks in the trade? And I think that it would kind of handcuff what Jared could do as far as making checks and doing things, because ultimately the center's got to make the adjustments per whatever surface he's looking at. So for those reasons, Steve, I think that it's going to be as we suspected going into this offseason, that Graham Glasgow is going to be the center going into the offseason. I mean, since Frank Ragnow has retired, that it'll be Graham Glasgow at the center. And everybody said that Tate's looking great at right guard, and we already know Christian Mahogany is going to be a dog out there. So I'm no longer worried about this offense, Steve. We're going to have Graham Glasgow at center, veteran guy, knows what he's doing, knows how to make all the checks. Everything's pointing for Decker to be back when it's time to get to the real football. He's a veteran. We know what we're going to get out of Panay. We're going to have 2 young maulers at those guard positions. We're going to run the football down people's faces.
Speaking of the offense, can't get off your will without mentioning in Tim Twentyman's article that he observed John Morton is going to do everything he can to get the ball in Jahmyr Gibbs' hands. That's what we've been talking about for 2 years now, William. A dynamic playmaker, not just a running back, maybe a little wide receiver. Hell, maybe a little wildcat. I don't know. Maybe a trick play with Jahmyr Gibbs, not just a hook and ladder, maybe a HB toss pass or something crazy, Will. But J-Mo, Gibbs, those are two guys that need to touch the ball as often as possible because they're home run hitters anytime they touch it. Will, does that excite you a little bit hearing Tim Twentyman reporting something like that?
It does, man. And also what Coach Morton said the other day at his press conference when he mentioned having all of his best players on the field at the same time is really his thought process. So getting Gibbs, J-Mo, Montgomery out there with St. Brown and Sam Laporta, getting them all on the field at the same time and making a defensive coordinator try to figure out, do I have 5 guys that can match up with those 5 guys? And once you figure out you don't, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to try to sit back in a zone and try to send some type of exotic pressure? Man, if I get caught naked in my pressure, those are touchdowns. Ask my man out there in Minnesota, man. He got undressed by trying to blitz us nonstop. So do I sit back and get the zone picked apart by smart guys like St. Brown and Sam Laporta, who know how to find the holes in the zone, and they have a great relationship with Jared Goff and Khalif Raymond. He's also another one, man, that knows how to pick his spots, man. So I don't know, Steve. This is going to be a tough offense to deal with if it's really clicking on all cylinders. There has been some situations through camp so far where they've talked about Jared Goff has just missed on some touchdowns. I have a sneaky suspicion that that's going to get all cleaned up and figured out as we get into the rhythm of this offense throughout the season. And those are going to be problems, man, for everybody.
I can't wait. I love hearing positive news about our young superstars on both sides of the field. Like, football's here, 2 more days. Just needs to be here now. And I know we don't get to see the big names anytime soon. We got about another month left for that. But just hearing some training camp stuff, man. Well, I could talk Detroit Lions football all damn night if we had some more stuff. But I don't really have anything left for tonight. You got anything else on your mind?
We're going to see some bigger names come Thursday night, man. We're going to see
who you think's going to play?
Tesla.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm surprised. I'm just saying, like, I'm surprised that these rookies aren't playing. Like, you're a rookie. Have you paid your dues yet? I think you should get out there during training camp and preseason games, but I understand long season. I definitely don't want to be in the boat we were last year with injuries, but yeah, I'm looking forward to the new names. I'm not going to call Tesla a superstar yet, but maybe 4 or 5 years from now, we might be having that conversation.
I think that he's a star. Now, is he?
Well, you went from just a guy 2 months ago to now is he Calvin Johnson, Will? Is he the next Calvin Johnson? We had that conversation recently.
Let's pump the brakes on that. By star, I mean fan favorite. This is what I'm saying by star. He's already a fan favorite and well liked. Him and Hassanin, man. Like, I don't know that I've seen guys not play a football game and be more fan favorites than those 2 guys. People love those guys. I get a lot of DMs, a lot of people in passing talking to me about those 2 guys, wanting us to do a show on those 2 guys. And I'm like, I haven't even come to you with it because I just think to myself, what are we going to talk about the whole time? Potential? I believe in both of their potential.
I feel like we talk about them at least once a week, too.
Yeah, we mention them, but I don't know how we wrap in 15 to 25 minutes of those 2. Now, moving forward, they might have after these preseason games, we might have some legs to stand on to do a show on them. But I'm excited to see those guys. I feel like they're both fan favorites already, Steve. And there's a few more. I think Hendon Hooker, getting a look at him, seeing what he can do in this preseason. Hopefully he can stay healthy and play all 4 games and get lots of reps, man. And just Dominic Lovett is another one. Keeney James. Like, it's a lot of guys that I'm looking to see. We mentioned Hassanin. I'm pumped to see these guys get out there and get after it.
Get his name right, William. It's Hendon in the streets. He's a hooker in the sheets. Stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.